Thank you, Mayor. Next on our agenda is Jorge Ayala. Mayor, Judge. I'll get there eventually. You know, who hired me?
Where he'll be sitting next year.
I know who's going to get that next year, Ken. Okay. We are here because of the Economic Development Administration grant, and we have with us Jorge Ayala, who is the Regional Director of the U.S. EDA, and their mission, you know, is it says, I just want to read it real fast, to lead the federal economic development agenda by promoting innovation and competitiveness, preparing American regions for growth and success in a worldwide economy. And they just had a birthday last year. They just turned 50, so they're not new to economic development. So we're glad to have you, George, as part of our team. And so invite you now to have your comments. Thank you.
Well, good to be in Plainview, and thank you for the wonderful weather. Hopefully there'll be some rain later, although not too much, so I can fly back to Austin. It's great to be with you here in Plainview. Just a little bit about myself. I grew up in a small town outside of Corpus Christi, Texas, in South Texas, and so I'm in a town that was about 500 people strong, which is not very big. So I have a big heart for rural America and economic development in rural America because I was there. I grew up in that environment. And so it's good to be here with you. Enjoyed visiting with Mayor Dunlap, and I got to look at my notes to make sure. And Judge Coleman, I don't want to make him. It was nice to visit with y'all this morning over breakfast, and just to see their passion for Plainview and for Hale County, and for continuing the economic development response, really, to kind of a devastating event that happened to you a few years ago. And thank you for sharing that story. You know, many cities and counties and municipalities go through situations where they have a significant job loss like that. Not everybody, though, responds the way you have responded, and it's really makes our job in Economic Development Administration easy when we see applications or grant applications from folks that are collaborating and are working together. It's really not much of a competition because we have a lot of other applicants that come to us looking for funding where there is no collaboration. There is no real agreement on what the project should be or what they need help with. And especially in light of this devastating event, to see y'all come together, realize that you're stronger together than apart is something to be celebrated and congratulated on, because not every community responds that way. And so I want to congratulate you on having done that. You know, as was mentioned before, Economic Development Administration, we're about helping communities respond to these kinds of issues and long-term economic distress, really helping distressed areas create an environment where jobs can be created, where private investment can happen, where companies want to move in and build their facilities and really create jobs for your local economy. And so it's great. It's a great job. I really have enjoyed being a part of the Economic Development Administration. I've been with the agency for 20 years, started as an engineer, and so I got to see firsthand when I first started with EDA the results of the EDA grants. We would go to a community, do an infrastructure project, much like what we're looking at here, where there was vacant land, nothing there before we started. We put in the infrastructure and come back a couple of years, kind of your story, and all of a sudden you see buildings, you see cars, you see people working, and the job satisfaction that comes from that, just to know that you have a small part in participating from a federal standpoint in helping that become a reality is huge. It's really, a unique, I think, opportunity within the federal government that we have as an agency to participate in. Appreciate our congressional delegation here represented. You know, we have great support, as I was mentioning, to some of them on both sides of the aisle for our federal agency because of the kinds of projects we do. We're really not a political, we try not to get into the political side of this. It's really about evaluating what the community wants to do. And truly you compete with grants from all 5 states. We cover, out of our office in Austin, we cover Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, what did I miss? Louisiana. How can I forget Louisiana? I'm going to be there next week. And I was mentioning over breakfast, our office in Austin, we get about 25 to 30 million in funds to do grants in that 5-state area. And for those of y'all, for me, 30 million is a lot of money. But from a federal government standpoint, it's a small amount of funding. So it is a very competitive process to get an EDA grant. So the fact that you have applied and have been competitively selected to receive this fund is something to be congratulated on, and to realize that it's a testament to the fact that you worked together, you presented a project that we saw an immediate impact, and truly a response to a devastating event that we wanted to partner with and help you with. So we're just ecstatic to be a part of what you're doing here. Also want to recognize our partners at SPAG. Tim Pierce and his crew are here and have been hosting me for the last day and a half or so, and great hospitality that they've shown. But they are huge proponents of what you're doing here in Plainview. We fund them to do economic development strategies for their area and for their counties that they cover. And we really work with our councils of government as partners in helping us identify and look for opportunities to invest in. So thank you, Tim, and your staff for hosting us and allowing us to be a part of this event here today. So what I'd like to do is announce officially that EDA will be investing today $1 million to the city of Plainview to do infrastructure work for the business park. We are glad to partner with the city and the county as we fund and participate in what you're already doing. We're just part of the collaboration that you guys are already have started, and we're just grateful to be a part of it. We look for getting the funds from the Treasury into your coffers and into the ground, into that infrastructure, so that you can start bringing in those companies that are going to hire your children, your next generation for years to come. We look forward to seeing that come to fruition. It's a great day to be in Plainview today. I'm glad to be here. And congratulations on working together and truly being a community that understands how to respond to these kinds of situations. Thank you so much.